Yo,
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Shout out to everybody in the left coast, west coast, east coast, and every coast in between.
Ivory Coast, everybody.
Yeah, Cote d'Ivoire. C'est là. Guys, welcome to another episode of Save the Date. I'm one of your hosts, Heath.
What's good, everybody? I'm your other host, Jamie,
Yeah, he's representing that East Flow, that NWA,
at New York
New York.
City. Welcome to New York City.
Today, guys, we're talking about something that Jay and I had a private conversation about, which we have all private conversations. A lot of the episodes flow from private conversations. Some flow from episodes we've seen in other podcasts or content we see from publications or online social media. But this is a conversation we have because I don't know if you guys know, Jamie and I are very tied into a lot of single men and women, especially single women. And we also have obviously been single, Jay's single. We've also been married. And we talk about the difficulties of dating a lot on this show because that's the theme of the show, Save the Date Now. One of the things we wanted to talk about, though, was the game of dating.
The game.
The game of dating. And our thesis, our idea is this. The current modern dating landscape is based on a set of games. The first game is collecting matches. You're going into swipe apps now, predominantly, and you're swiping because you're trying to collect matches. And what you're doing with these matches is you're filtering based on your preferences, based on what you think you want, and then trying to get as many matches as possible, either for dates or in some cases, validation. That's one of the first things about gaming. We'll get more into that. The second game of dating is consuming people like content. So you meet somebody, you match, you talk, you go out on a great date, and then someone ghosts you. And what's happening is people are treating dates now like content. And back in the 80s, a great date really was a gateway to meeting somebody and creating a thriving relationship or a friendship or a network. That person would be in your orbit now. Now
hmm
you could have a great date, but it was just like watching a great Netflix show. We went out, we had a great time. Whew, that scratched that itch. When I feel like doing this again in 9 months, I'll be back on the apps, romance someone up, go out on a date, and then boom, I'll do the same thing again, wash, rinse, repeat, which is leading to a lot of objectification. And people are really feeling this objectification because many of the people who are going on these dates and being romanced, men and women alike, he, she, theys, ultimately are feeling the impact because when they reach back out after a great date, thinking it is a gateway to a relationship, they realize they're speaking into a void. The person has ghosted them. So again, the first one is collecting matches. The second thing is treating people like content. I don't want to get into the third one right now, but one of the things we want to talk about first going to matches is this. A lot of us are filtering for everything except our emotional preferences. The challenge is your matches are based on, in many cases, external factors that matter to you. Height, weight, look, skin color, race, ethnicity, social status, prestige, pedigree. Now, all these are important and
Don't
they
forget
all
education now
education.
and politics now.
Politics now. Hold on, there's a lot of noise in the background. I guess there's something happening outside. Anyway, politics, education, class. These are all important parts of dating historically, but now because you can filter for them and actually as you're swiping, really assess based on, I would say, your imperfect judgment, who
hmm
looks like they meet the class level I like or want, and who is below the class level I like or want. And that's going to happen because we have biases. It's built into the architecture of our brain. The challenge is you make a match, you meet someone, you collect all these matches according to your preferences, you go on these dates, and they're horrible. They're downright, in some cases, demoralizing and degrading. And what happens is you can filter for everything but your emotional preferences. You can filter for everything but someone's character, their integrity, their ability to commit, their desire to serve, their desire to nourish, their desire to nurture, their desire to listen, their desire to place the other person before their own needs. You can't filter for those things.
Yeah, no, you can't. You
So
can't.
what happens is you now have to take the extra step to filter for emotional preferences. But because we've become so reliant and consequently overjoyed that we finally collected a match that matches our filters that we think are important, we neglect to actually follow up on the filters that require more work, which is our emotional preferences. Because ultimately, someone's character is going to determine the quality and level of commitment that you're seeking. I'm going to say that again. Someone's character, who they are, how they act under pressure, how they regard you, how they regard your preferences and desires and needs is going to determine the quality and level of commitment they're going to give you. And so if you become too enamored and seduced by the external filters you're using, or the filters to factor in the external fact, to filter, excuse me, the filters to take into account the external factors, you're never really doing the work in texting interaction or in real life interaction to determine, is this person a fit for me? Am I fit for them? Does this make sense for me? Does this make sense for them? Because just like you don't want your time wasted, you shouldn't be interested in wasting anyone else's time.
But that's the game though. Consequently, I feel like that's what the game is curating. A lot of the time wasted. I mean, now it's to the point now where it's on people's profiles. Where they're telling you about all of the things that they don't want. I want somebody who is cultured or educated, well-read, laid back. Don't waste my time. That's on everybody's profile now, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, to what you're talking about, you can solve for all of those other things. It's easy to solve for height. They put the height preference on there. It's easy to solve for if someone has kids or not. That preference is on most of the apps now. Somebody's education, highest level education, or what kind of job they have. So yeah, like you said, it's easy to solve for all of those things, but you can't solve for generosity. I remember a clip from tonight's conversation cards where dude Trip Fontaine was talking about how a lot of women, I would just say people in general, they get seduced by gesture. You know what I'm saying? Not the intention behind an act. Because a lot of women say actions speak louder than words. And you got some dudes who become very adept at weaponizing actions. So yes, they know how to open the door and bring flowers and do all of these things, but that's just a Trojan horse. Their true intention, once they've opened the door and given you these roses and gotten that, emotional itch scratch that you like, here come the big guns.
Here come the howitzers. Got the aircraft carriers like, oh, this is powered by a nuclear reactor for 70 years. We coming in.
Yeah, the tanks start rolling into town.
Said the USS Beat is at port.
Yeah, but no, people can get seduced by gesture. And it's nothing for a dude who has it to spend $300 on a date or a dinner, or to trick if you ain't got, you know what I'm saying? It ain't tricking if you ain't got it, type of thing. It's nothing for a dude to do that, but that doesn't mean they're generous, because when you're married, let's say 20 years in, and this is just an extreme case, but you're married 20, 30 years in, and a parent falls ill, and y'all got more than enough room for them to move in with y'all. And like, but this is my house. They not moving in here. You can't filter for that kind of generosity.
Yeah. That's self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this particular piece is going to be critical for people, because we get lost in, I got my person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about how the person presents on paper, not who they really are in action.
Yeah.
And this is going to be important, because you only know what you think you are bargaining for, not what could go wrong.
Say more.
Well, it goes back to the filters piece. Still focusing on collecting matches, number one. You think went to Harvard, got the JD, Northwestern, Northeastern, Cornell, UCLA, checked the boxes, got the fat butt, got the, the pouty lips, got the body I want. And all you're thinking about is, I'm scratching my itch. What I want is what I'm getting. And you're so focused and in the zone with what you want and what you want being manifested, you're not thinking, what could go wrong if I get everything I want? What could go wrong if I get everything I want? And that is almost heresy in our modern society.
Yeah. Who's investigating their own needs? Who's interrogating that?
What their desires are. Why do you really want this?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this important to you? Have you spoken to your friendship network? We talk about this all the time in the podcast, to interrogate what they understand about you and some of the continual issues or flaws they see in your character or in your approach to dating. Are you getting honest conversation from others if you can't get it from yourself? So you learn through honest conversations with others to give it to yourself. Because once you have the fat butt and the smile, Velvet DeVoe told us, poison.
Mm-hmm.
Never trust a big butt and a smile.
And some of us love drink poison.
Never trust a JD and a tailor-made suit.
And some clean brogues.
Yeah.
And a nice pocket square.
Mm-hmm.
Never trust it.
Never trust it. Yeah. And what happens is you never think about what could go wrong, how you can become victimized by your own desires, victimized by the people you invited to your life based on a list, as opposed to based on a connection someone's earned with you. I'm going to tell you this. There is no foolproof way for vetting people in your life. No foolproof way. There's no 100% on anything. But I will tell you this one method I have found that is more effective than others. And again, it's not kindness, it's not congeniality, it's not friendliness. Sociopaths know how to mimic those qualities, like you just said. They know how to do it in such a short spurt and to do it in a way we call it love bombing that you become overwhelmed and believe this is it. This is going to take me to the show. So don't rely on those things. They're nice, but interrogate them and take them in a measured way.
Yeah.
The ultimate thing, I believe, again, high probability, not perfect, that helps you assess someone's character is do their words and their actions align over time? Are they consistent at saying something that they're going to do with you and for you, and then even something for themselves and committing to it in action? Imperfectly, not a straight line, but it's like the chart that eventually trends up, like the chart for rent that's been increasing since 1990.
All right.
It's gone down a little bit, then it's trended up, but it's trending. It's been trending up. People know when they look at their bank accounts. It's the same kind of principle. Is it charting up? There's going to be some dips in there, and there should be dips because we're human beings and things happen and you interact with your macro environment whether you want to or not. But I want to see that you're able to say what you're going to do for yourself, for others, for me, and that you're able to commit, even if you struggle in the commitment. As Jamie said, if you see someone struggling meeting to your needs, there's still opportunity to hope for you. Just because your needs at a 10 and they're at a 7 and they're struggling to get to 8, that doesn't mean you can cast them away. If anything, that's the person you keep because they actually want to work. Let's say that again. They actually want to work towards your needs. Because people who just show up with the flamboyant, the flamboyant presentation of gifts and the flowery words, the smile, that's $1 million. Those people, I'm not sure can sustain that. And some of us find out sooner rather than later, they're not able to sustain it. And they never were planning to because they knew they were going to get what they wanted out of you in just a short time. So this is what I mean. You only know what you think you're bargaining for. I'm getting X because my list says X.
Yeah.
But how could it go wrong? I'm turning down the slim sister because I don't like them slim. I like them, again, I trust a big butt and a smile. I'm turning down the guy who makes X amount of salary because I have needs that go here, and to visit here and be here. And if you can't match that, I don't know what to tell you. We're so quick to write people off who are actually well-intentioned and are willing to work. I can't emphasize this enough. Is someone willing to do the work for you? Let's go back to our classic
Wait. Go ahead.
it's fairy tale stories, because I want you to hold your thought. I want you to jump in. What did the Prince Charming have to do to get to the Sleeping Beauty or the princess? He had to work. He had to ride that horse. He had to walk that fiery bridge with the horse. He had to slay that dragon. He had to climb that castle. And yeah, we're talking about a man to a woman, but this can happen for a woman to a man. I'm just talking about work. Someone who's displaying they're willing to work with you and for you at times. We're not talking about slavery and servitude. We're talking about service. Make a distinction. There's a distinction between service and servitude. Not talking about just giving you everything up front to show them that to show them you're worthy or they're worthy. That's not it. But people who are willing to commit what they said over time is going to be the best measure of who they really are and what they're really about when it comes to investing in you investing in them, and you guys investing in each other. Want to jump in?
Well, yeah. I mean, you were just talking about people who are committed to doing the work, but how do we tell people to? Because I feel like we're kind of telling people to lower their standards when we open up that kind of conversation. There are some people who would say, "Well, I don't want somebody who would just do the work. I want somebody who can or who's willing to do the work. I want somebody who could do it and do it well." And it's like, I understand us saying put that into perspective, but I feel like that's what a lot of people struggle with is the concept of lowering standards. That's how they look at it. They don't look at it as me choosing something that could be better for me because there's a higher probability that there's more of this thing out here to choose from. They look at it as, well, what I want is special and is rare. So for me to take anything else than special and rare means I'm lowering my standards. Like, how do we change that narrative?
Well, the first thing I would say is, have you interrogated your standards?
Yeah.
There's a famous line that me and we've been friends for almost 20 years now. And one of the first, I think, quips or lines that I remember we used to talk about is, you have to realize your desires have been manufactured. What do we mean by that? That what you think you like has come from a set or suite of influences that are either from your home, your childhood, your community, your family, your social circle. And your social circle has evolved over the years, so social circles. It's also from media. Now media plays a big role because media is
Culture.
ubiquitous. TV used to go off in my mom's age. My mom's in the 80s, right? TV used to turn off. Do with the multicolored. That was it. Take yourself to bed. If you're looking at TV at 11 o'clock at night, there's a problem. Now, by the 1980, you had 24-hour news. CNN came about, and cable, you could watch something all night long, all day long,
Word.
taking in unidirectional, taking in that information, and you don't have enough time to judge or assess actually what you're taking in. So there's a bunch of influences that have shaped what you like. I'll give you an example. When I was younger, I was a breast man. Loved women's breasts. I didn't care. I was always checking out breasts. When I moved to Atlanta for college,
Start seeing them
and
yams.
I was in the mecca of Black excellence and Black beauty and Black intelligence, because there was a trifecta of beauty, intelligence, and yams and all those Black women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure.
I came back when I moved back to New York after college. Now it's like them yams mean everything to me. So I was influenced because I was around a culture, man and woman culture, that celebrated yams
Mm-hmm.
and the history of yam loving men and women in Black culture. I had to drink it in. There's nothing I can do. It was in the air.
Yeah.
Whether that doesn't mean I stopped loving breasts, but it became more of an emphasis for me, more than it had been before I arrived, because I was in the culture. And as we all do in all cultures, I had a cousin of mine who said every human being, no matter what environment they enter into, wants to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
They strive to be successful. So you adapt to be whatever that version of successful is in that culture and environment. I did the same thing. I got in, saw brothers and sisters celebrating the beautiful Black woman body. I got in on the train. I wasn't gonna be left at the station.
Right.
You may have to take the car. No, I ain't doing that. I ain't gonna be the one in the car and everyone else is on the party bus, or the party train rather.
Yeah.
So that's just an example of how you can be influenced to certain desires. You see a big argument now being made for the ubiquity of porn, and porn creating certain norms around physical intimacy that some people are complaining, men and women alike, is unrealistic. Whether it's the phenotypic features of the individuals involved or the type of physical intimacy or coitus they're engaging in. It's unrealistic, but people are now getting into it. I heard Billie Eilish, she wrote how she grew up watching porn. So when she started being intimate at a young age, 15, 16, she was just playing back what she saw, not even considering her locus or center of pleasure, because this is what I saw. So this is important for us to note, that when we talk about your standards, you have to start from the place. This is the launch pad. What are my standards and why do I have them? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why does this matter to me? What are my goals in life? Are these standards helping me achieve these goals, or who do I want to be in life? More importantly, too, is this helping me become the person that I say I want to be? Have I had those conversations with myself? And like I said earlier, if you can't have those conversations with yourself, that's fine. That's where you're at. Start by having honest conversations with others. Ask for critique. Ask for insight. Ask for help. And if you can't get it in your circle, and you have money, and you are resourced, and you do have insurance, start with a therapist. Start with a clinician, because this is going to be the decision and decisions that change your life forever. I stand by this argument that marriage and long-term commitment, but really marriage is still one of the best wealth creation vehicles that human beings have. And if you desire to get married, you are looking at, based on the data, increased health, increased financial wealth, increased family health, and other positive benefits, especially if you get along with the person and you guys are vibing and connected. You want to hop in?
These games we playing out here with this dating, y'all, we gotta, I don't know, we gotta reverse our course. We gotta course correct, because it just seems like, as you pointed out earlier, we're connected to a lot of single men and women. The consensus around dating is that it's failing because like you said, is based on a lot of games. Like, people are really just out for, what can I get out of the situation? And as long as I'm getting what I want, or closest thing to it, or as long as I get more than the other person, as long as I've one-upped in this situation, then I'm good. And people are walking away from, potentially long-term relationships because they're okay with just getting a little bit that they got, which was more than the other person, or just the little bit that they wanted. And this is not to say, because I don't necessarily advocate for a certain type of relationship, but I just always feel like whatever you bring to it, bring your genuine and authentic self. And try to create a connection that has some significance beyond what you want from it. I think really first just starting is getting to know someone, and it doesn't necessarily have to be friendship where you guys know each other's middle name, a family. It could just be friendship on, hey, I check on you every now and again just to make sure you're okay. Your emotional, physical, mental well-being, just so you know somebody's checking on you and thinking about you. I'm just tapping in, wondering how you're doing. But yeah, I mean, I just think the games that we're playing with dating, it just seems like a lot of people are tired and they're fed up because most of dating is games. You got people talking about love bombing, you got people talking about breadcrumbing, you got people talking about ghosting. I mean, I can't really say much about that because I've done that plenty of times. I've been ghosted plenty of times. I don't think it's any hard feelings around it, but just the game itself of getting someone interested and just kind of cold turkey cutting them off, conversation, communication, whatever y'all were doing, and there being no follow up on that or love bombing. These games are like really putting people through the ringer emotionally. And I know we're supposed to look at it as, well, we didn't even have any feelings established, but yo, people put time and effort and energy and their own feelings into dating to whatever degree or capacity they think they're doing that. They deserve some kind of respect and decency for that. So yeah, man, I feel like a lot of these games are just tainting the
Yeah,
waters
yeah.
or
It's
putting
making it
pee in
very
the dating
difficult.
pool, as everybody's
Yeah.
saying.
And that's a good segue to the second game that I mentioned, which is treating people like content. You are seeing people now because we have content-fied everything. What do I mean by content-fied everything? I know people who will watch business news, how-tos, watch cheddar news. They'll watch the latest entrepreneur online, the latest business influencer, the latest business information marketing program. They purchase them all. They get them. But it's not about doing. It's just about consuming that content. So they can tell you everything they want about starting an LLC or a C Corp versus a B Corp and all the different corporate levels. They can tell you about marketing. I mean, they're talking about it the way individuals, when I was growing up, would talk about favorite novels that they would, they read. Mice and Men and Prayer for Owen Meany, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, The Bluest Eye. They're talking about it like content. And what's happened is because we have built our lives around these content streams, we've now made dating a content stream.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have an itch to watch A Different World, I'll turn on Netflix because The Different World is one of my favorite shows, and I'll watch A Different World.
Mm-hmm.
When I feel like going on a date, I'll hop on Tinder, Bumble,
Yeah.
romance
Match with
someone,
somebody real quick.
match with someone, give them all the good feelings, because giving them the good feelings means we give the good feelings. We go on a great date. I romance them. Mike Duggett, Romancing the Stone. We have a great evening. Maybe I beat, maybe I don't beat. Next day, hey, really had a good night. No response.
Crickets. Yeah.
And that just starts off a cascade of just non-responsiveness where the person's left wondering what really happened and am I the person to blame? Because for that person who's not responding, that was what I needed. My hit
Yeah.
was
Just that content.
just
Getting
that
the
content.
content. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this
Yeah.
is a dangerous game to play because I believe that is behind. This is not researched. I haven't spoken and done ethnographies and done all the research and even started even having focus groups. But what I can tell is people now, because of what we're seeing, people bending inwards, especially after the pandemic, and not really wanting to be social and putting up barriers, they are just looking into experiences that they want to have the way that you would turn on your PlayStation, your Xbox, or your Fire Stick and have an experience with that content. It's just
Mm.
content now.
Yeah.
But what people don't realize is that's setting up objectification. Because did you tell that person, hey, I'm just really want to go on a date and have a good time, and that's it?
Probably
Or
not.
did you tell them, hey, I'm looking forward to meeting you. This is really great. I haven't been out in a while, and you're just a really cool person that I can really connect with. And hey, no problem. Looking forward to having a great time when you're out. I haven't been on a date like this in a while. You really make me feel something different and special. Trust me, for someone like me who's in the house all the time, this is unique.
I mean, I don't even know if they got to be spinning that story. It's just they're not telling them the truth of the matter, which is I'm really just using you for this date tonight. I'm really just using you for this content, this itch that I have.
Yeah, I needed to get out tonight.
You know what's so funny, bro? And I mean, I don't even really mean to gender code this like this, but I want to give this some understanding because I mostly see women do that. But I wonder if their thinking is, well, y'all been objectifying us as just bodies, using us for however long. Why shouldn't we get something from the deal? Or why shouldn't we approach it the same way? Not to say that it's justified, but I think it's probably the first time I've considered that thinking, that thought, and that narrative from a woman.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen it in some of the interviews. Again, this has not been well researched from a PhD level research methodology. I've seen women talk about it. I know historically when we were coming up in the dating game, It was about the free meal. Women like, okay, oh wow, you build cars, okay. I'll have the parade of a duck.
The duck l'orange,
Exactly, exactly. Does that come with a special
the rice pilaf, a steak
carrots?
Diane.
And just be like this, they give me gas. They give you gas? Like, they don't even care. Not even
Yeah,
hiding or trying to impress because I'm just going to run up the free meal. That's what I heard historically. Just like dudes was on a date for the beat. But what I think is happening now is people are really performing to impress, performing to really bond. They're looking for the sweet spot of connection, or at least performative connection, to go to the next level. So when you're on a date, I don't know with the free meal dates if people were really performing for connection. They were just performing to get through the end of the date and get that bill paid. Now it seems like, yo, I had such a great time, and yo, listen, this was dope, and yo, man, yeah, I had a great time too. Yo, this is amazing, man. Yo, we just get up and just touch base and silence.
yeah,
So there, but silence. That's what people are getting. So this is just a second game that's going, and I mentioned the third one, and there really isn't a third one, but it's more of a reiteration of what I said. Playing, I'm going to say playing, but getting into the dating game and not knowing yourself. Relying on dating as a way to fill a hole that you
mm,
have not taken the time to fill on your own.
yeah. That's a whole other episode, but that's
That's a
that's
whole
real.
episode. That's the
That's real though.
third
Yeah,
date
that's real
game
though.
people are playing. Allowing or trying to get others, hoodwink others into solving your problem that you have with yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Damn, because you are, taking advantage of other people's empathy.
Mhm.
Because sometimes that's a thing. People date out of empathy. Like I was watching Love Is Blind, and I feel like there's a couple on there, a black couple, and I really kind of feel like the guy, you know, might be on a spectrum. That's neither here nor there.
Mhm, mhm,
But
mhm,
sometimes the way this girl talks to him is like she's happy to be looked at as someone who can love this man through his problems.
mhm, mhm,
It's a
mhm,
very
mhm.
empathetic narrative, but
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes, but it pulls on the empathy of love.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
I'm a
saying?
savior, though. That may be a complex.
Right.
I'm the hero.
And
Maybe
I
you grew up
think
in a
some
home
people
with,
like that. Some
yeah,
people like being the hero of the love story.
but also maybe you grew up in a home where you were the villain.
Hmm.
You were compared to a sibling who excelled and did well, and now you're using your love life to solve that problem by being the hero.
Right.
But getting into a relationship that isn't about authenticity, it's about solving your childhood problem. How long is that going to last?
Hmm. This person makes me feel like I'm adored when I'm around them. They worship the ground I walk on.
Mhm.
And it's like, you're only
Not like
with
my
them for that.
parents,
You're only
Shelly.
with them for that.
Yeah.
You're not with them because you want to worship the ground they walk on or reciprocate that energy in
Mhm.
any kind of way. You just like how they make you feel.
Yes. And that's the third game people are playing, using dating and their dating life to solve a problem they have with
Mm.
themselves that they're refusing to solve on their own.
So we did talk about doing an episode on emotional objectification.
And
I
that'll be
think
the next
this
one.
this is the segue into that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We'll do that the next episode because we're at time now.
Yes. That was a good note
Guys,
to end on, though.
thank you for listening. Another episode of Save the Date. I'm your Heath. I'm going to be one of your hosts, Heath.
I'm Jamie, y'all.
Until next
Peace.
episode, take care.